All right, Mouse Planet, Alan DeLinka back with you. We are here for show number 21. I even decided today, for some odd reason, to throw the graphic in here. I don't know. I was just having fun with graphics today. At any rate, welcome to show number 21, Fun at Home. We are going to spend most of the show today playing our new game. And our new game, if you haven't been following, is called MousePlanet Live Jibe Time. MousePlanet Live Jibe Time is a fill-in-the-blank game where you, the audience, get to supply some answers and compete head-to-head with our various contestants. And before we get to all that, I'm going to go and bring my boss, Adrienne Vincent Phoenix. She's shaking her head in the green room. I should say all sorts of things and get her to shake her head in the green room, right? Yeah, she's not even responding. At any rate, we're going to bring Adrienne on. She's going to give the, I don't know, lack of news that we have out of Disneyland today. Here's Adrienne. Let's see. There we are.
That's kind of
well. It's sort of. It's. I mean, after you sent me that link to Josh's interview with the Dow folks today, Josh says no information from California, therefore no news out of Disneyland. But go ahead.
Well, and that really is kind of our recurring theme here out of Disneyland. But if you read the Disneyland update this week, there is actually some positive news coming out of California in that Orange County, California, dropped off of the state's COVID-19 watch list. We are on day 4 now of being off the watch list. Why that matters is that the governor said that once a county has been off the watch list for 14 days, that they can look at reopening business sectors. They can look at reopening schools and actually having in-person instruction, which most of our districts have opened the school year doing virtual instruction. So this is kind of a big deal for Orange County. It means we can go back into phase 3 of reopening. And previously the state had said that theme parks can reopen during stage 3. Now, of course, what we're really waiting on is guidance from the state as to what that reopening can look like. Some of the theme parks in the area seem to have gotten a little anxious waiting. So Knott's Berry Farm, we've talked about this a couple of times. They've got their outdoor food and wine festivals that they've been doing. SeaWorld just announced that they're going to reopen under the provisions for zoos. So they're not going to have any indoor attractions. They're not going to have any rides open, but they're going to have their outdoor exhibits open. San Diego Zoo has reopened. San Diego Safari Park has reopened. The LA County Zoo reopened today. So we're seeing a lot of movement going on. And really, we're just waiting for the state to come out with what the guidance is going to be to reopen the theme parks. So as Alan alluded, Josh D'Amaro was interviewed by the Dow Report, and he was asked about California. And what he basically said is, we're ready to open. We just don't have the guidance. But we're seeing some interesting things going on. And one of those is that Disney Auditions yesterday posted an audition that's coming up on September 6th, and they are looking for professional stunt talent for Disney California Adventure. And they're specifically looking for stunt performers, I should say, who can play the roles of Black Panther and Captain America. And of course, that would be for the Avengers campus, which is nearing completion at Disney California Adventure. So these are good signs. We've said all along, we can't predict the future. We don't have an inside track. We're just looking at what the regulatory climate is and what we're seeing. And we're seeing some really positive steps. So hopefully we'll have some news. My understanding is that the state is supposed to be meeting this week with theme park executives and that we ought to hear something. So I'm hoping to have some news either for this Monday's update or something around Labor Day.
And I think with regard to news in the front of the pandemic, it's still hard to predict. I mean, things have been super fluid. Here things in Florida, things have stayed fairly stable. The numbers have started trending down, but there haven't been massive new openings beyond the openings that were previously announced. If attendance is starting to creep up at the parks, I'm not hearing reports of it. I'm not seeing reports of it. And certainly we already know from the published park hours that are coming up starting just next week after Labor Day, park hours are being reduced. So you're going to see a smaller portion of the day. And as I wrote in the Walt Disney World update last week and this week, this is the time of the year that things usually are rather quiet around here. In fact, as I said in our update, barring major news here in Florida, I'm actually going to take the next 2 weeks off of the update. And for folks who didn't know, last week I did the show with a fever. I've been out and about all of 4 times, and I managed to pick something up out there. So I was wearing a mask. Some people I was around were not. wear masks, please. It's for everyone's health. I am now your poster child for somebody who's done everything right. I've stayed at home, I've social distanced, and I still caught something. I don't think I got COVID. I don't know. I haven't been tested. I probably won't be tested for quite some time because I'm still isolating. And really getting a test doesn't mean I'm going to get a cure to anything because we're not at the cure stage. But I'm doing okay. You can see I'm doing okay. I'm feeling okay. Not
I'm
back to
glad you're feeling
100%.
better.
Well, thank you. That's about it from Florida. I mean, the other news around Florida has been for us. Thankfully, the hurricanes missed us, and my thoughts are with those on that Texas and Louisiana border where Laura is headed, because that's a monster.
Yeah.
And if you're in that region, take cover. Get away from the shore. They're talking about 30-foot storm surge. Unsurvivable was the word I saw in quotes from about 4 or 5 different weathermen today, all over the country. So take cover. This is a big deal. Don't take it lightly either. That's about it for me. Anything else, Adrian?
Well, I mean, really, that's it. Well, I think the guys are all itching to talk about their dogs for National Dog Day, so we'll get back to that later.
We'll get back to that later. All right, I'm going to put you in the green room. I'm going to bring on our special guest, and we're going to talk to him for a few minutes. Okay. Our special guest is Shawn Slater from Disney Parks Live Entertainment. Let me bring Shawn on. Shawn, welcome to Mouse Planet Live. How are you?
Hello, Mouse Planet. I'm doing great.
Thanks so much for being here. And Shawn, you may have seen on Mouse Planet before, because I've gotten to interview Shawn in an official capacity. And while he's here with the blessing of his superiors, he's really here as a fan. But I told Shawn before the show, I feel obligated to say, anything official you can share, Shawn?
Well, yeah, so I'm proud to represent the Disney Parks Live Entertainment team as their communications manager. And, of course, a visit to the park right now and entertainment in the parks looks a little different than it usually does. We're keeping the health and safety of all of our guests and cast members top of mind with everything that we do. But, that said, lots of magical experiences have been created for guests who are going to visit the parks right now. So, we've got special cavalcades and motorcades in our parks where you can see some of your favorite Disney friends, surprise character sightings around places. I know people have gotten a big kick out of seeing Winnie the Pooh on the lawn over by Journey into Imagination with his butterfly net chasing them around, or Buzz Lightyear or Stitch on the stage in Tomorrowland. And then some musical groups like the Jammers and Mariachi Cobre at America Gardens Theater at Epcot. So there's lots of great entertainment to be experienced right now at the Disney parks.
And Jeremiah Good, who's in our green room and joining us, shared a handful of pictures, because I haven't been to the parks, but Jeremiah has, and he takes fantastic pictures. And these are some of the character experiences that we're seeing, where you guys have stuck the characters in unique places where you get to have fun interactions from them from a reasonable distance.
Yeah, the Country Bears are popping out there on the balcony of their theater in Frontierland. There's my Big Al plush right back there on the chair behind me. I love Big Al.
And using Main Street Station as a natural place, it's used all the time for other events. On the trolley, we got Piglet on there, and the cavalcades that you mentioned. So there's neat stuff going on in the parks. So the primary reason I had you on is I mean, you're a huge Disney fan, and let me take that off the screen. And I mean, there was a Chicago broadcaster who's been retired, and at various times he worked for both the CBS owned and operating station and the ABC station. His name was Harry Porterfield, and Harry used to host a Chicago segment called Someone You Should Know. And I think in a Disney sense, Shawn, you're one of those people that fans should know, because you're sort of living that life of a decades-long fan who's also had a decades-long career at the company. How far back does your fandom in the company go?
Yeah, thank you very much, Alan. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, well, my fandom started really when I was little. I was probably, 4 or 5 years old. When I went to my first Disney movie. I remember it was Robin Hood, and we saw it at a drive-in theater. Went 3 times, loved it. My first visit to the parks, I was 8 years old, so I'll date myself now. That was 1978. Mickey's 50th birthday parade was going on, and we had a great time figuring out, our tickets and what we were going to get to do and where we would go. Had a few more family visits after that, but I started working for the company in the summer of 1989 on the world famous Jungle Cruise. So yeah,
Oh,
I was a
neat.
skipper in the Magic Kingdom Park. Um, and yeah, it's been 31 phenomenal years with roles all over the place. I tons of attraction experiences in 3 out of the 4 parks. Had a short stint over at the Disney stores. Had the honor of being part of the opening team for Kilimanjaro Safaris at Animal Kingdom. And then, I also, for a period in the late 90s after that, was a show writer at Walt Disney Imagineering. And then later transitioned into a writing role for entertainment. That was my first entertainment job with the company. I worked on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Play It,
Oh,
our
neat.
live show attraction at Disney's Hollywood Studios. From there, moved into entertainment leadership and now entertainment communications, where I've been for about the last 9 years.
Well, I was
Been a great
going to
ride.
ask you when you
Mhm.
mentioned, the Jungle Cruise, but I think given that you're also a writer, I'll just broaden the question. I'll say, all right, Disney is well known for its puns on attractions and shows, and certainly the Jungle Cruise is number one on that list. What's your favorite Disney pun?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. You put me on the spot. It's hard to come up with that. I mean, I love just some of the simple gags on there, like when we would talk about the butterflies in the Amazon, and how they have a wingspan that can stretch anywhere from 1 foot to a whopping 12 inches.
That's a good one.
Or of course, backside of water. That's become sort of a classic joke, but
And
interesting.
actually, when we played our Jibe Time game last week, we already had a joke based on that. So you're off the hook. You're off the hook from having to relive that this week.
Right. Yeah, interesting story. The backside of water joke actually came from skippers. It was originally back in the 50s at Disneyland, the Jungle Cruise was actually taken very seriously. It was meant to be a serious true life adventure trip down the rivers of the world. And then starting in the 60s, Mark Davis was brought in by Walt, and they started introducing humor to the show. But even when I started, hang on, I'm being passed notes. Yeah, even when I started in the late 80s.
Any late breaking news you can share, Shawn?
No. It's a pun that my wife is sharing with me. I'll tell you in a minute. Late 80s, when I started at Jungle Cruise, the script was pretty straightforward. We had jokes, but you just had a couple of options for each scene. But it was during the lead up to the 20th anniversary in 1991, where they held sessions with cast members, with skippers, and invited us to come together and pitch some of the jokes, because as we know, whether they're supposed to or not, sometimes our skippers will go a little off script and say some things, but they thought, okay, well, let's hear the jokes that you have, and those that are deemed appropriate and part of the story, we'll weave them in. And Backside of Water actually came from one of our skippers. It was something a number of people had already been doing, but then the Imagineers loved it and they worked it in. And nowadays, that Jungle Cruise script has probably 4 to 6 options for every scene. So skippers can use the ones that work best for them or mix it up from cruise to cruise. Makes it a lot of fun.
And you said you worked both Jungle Cruise at one point in your career and Kilimanjaro Safari?
Yes, actually, I worked every attraction with a live narration, with the exception of the land boat ride.
What is that transition like? I mean, obviously you didn't do them back to back, which would probably be thoroughly confusing. What was the transition of going from what by the time you were doing it was the fictional world of the Jungle Cruise to the more serious role that especially the early years of the Kilimanjaro script were?
Yeah, it was actually a nice change of pace. In fact, we had a lot of people come from Jungle Cruise over to Kilimanjaro, and really had to focus working with some of them to remember, this isn't funny. You can be personable, you can put your personality into it, but we're not telling jokes here. But I loved the deep, rich storytelling of Kilimanjaro Safaris and all of Africa at Disney's Animal Kingdom. Being a trainer on that opening team, we got to work really closely with Joe Rohde and Kevin Brown, who is the lead show writer on the project, and really get a deep understanding of everything that had inspired that attraction in that area. And we just had fun playing when we were there with guests, just acting like we were really living in Harambe, a village in East Africa. I would go so far as when people would ask me for directions to Asia, I would direct them down Old Sakoni Road, make a left, head out to the airfield, and get on a plane. It'll take you more east, so more left, and then eventually you'll land in Anandapur.
So sort of complete backstory sort of things like they do on the two these days.
Right. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. So what my wife passed to me, I'm sorry, is at different points in our careers, because she's also a big Disney fan who's been with the company for a while, we each had an opportunity to work at the Magic of Disney Animation at Disney MGM Studios. And if you remember from the Back to Neverland sequence in the beginning of that with Robin Williams and Walter Cronkite, they would talk about setting the scene and how it's foreboding. And Robin would counter with foreboding. So she and I throw that out now. Every time we hear the word foreboding in any context, no matter where we are, we look at each other, we're like, foreboding?
Nice. Now, I like probably plenty of our viewers, and I know the others in the green room are oogling your major collection behind you. and I note before the intellectual property law background, I have notes that you've included other Disney acquisitions in there, like Bart Simpson, and I see Walter from the Muppets. How many different franchises are represented behind you and what we're seeing? It's got to be quite a few, yeah.
Quite a few, although, I mean, in other parts of the room, I've got a big Star Wars and Galaxy's Edge selection. There's not so much Marvel in this room, so we have another room with movies and stuff like that, and Marvel things are there. Although I do have Stan Lee sitting here on my desk with me, Excelsior. So he's cool, but this is our study. So it's a Disney library, with tons of books, but also all kinds of fun toys and art and other collectibles and things we've picked up over the years, tied to franchises. But really, mostly, the collection is tied to Disney parks. That's really been where the passion has been all these years.
And is that where you've sort of devoted? I mean, we were talking before the show. You've made it to all 12 Disney parks at some point in your life, if not the career.
That's right. That's right.
Maybe both, right?
Well, honestly, mostly just personal travels.
Yeah.
I had, of course, visited Disneyland and Walt Disney World myself, but when I met my future wife, Laurel, actually very early on when we were dating, we made a vow, because we maybe didn't know we were going to get married, but we had a feeling, and knew that we would be, at the very least, best friends forever. So we made a commitment to one another that we would go and visit every Disney park around the world together. Of course, at that time, there were only 4 destinations, and we actually bought one of these photo cubes.
Yeah.
So the first spot we filled was Walt Disney World. That was easy. Gosh, I looked really young back then. This was 20 years ago. And then we made it to Disneyland.
Yeah.
That was our first Christmas together. In 2003, we made our first trip to Tokyo Disneyland.
Now, is there a telltale way to tell in your photo that it's Disneyland and not just another one at Walt Disney World?
Well, yeah. I mean, there are Japanese guests behind us. At the time, you see there's an extra turret out toward the hub from the castle. We didn't have those yet at Walt Disney World, so that was new. And we're doing the thing that every Japanese guest does when they take a picture, which is that was great. And then we finished the cube with Disneyland Paris in 2011. But since then, we've other parks have opened.
Right. So you need auxiliary cubes.
Yeah, well, we've just gone on to other digital means, but in fact, Hong Kong Disneyland opened in 2005, just about a month and a half before our twins were born.
Mm.
So eventually, actually, it was in 2016. My wife Laurel was part of the opening task force at Shanghai Disneyland. She was out there for about 2 months, and at the end of her assignment, I took the boys and we joined her and did a tour through Asia, including stops in Beijing and the Great Wall. But we visited all the Disney parks out there. So we went to Tokyo again, and then Hong Kong and Shanghai. And then just last summer, we also took our boys out to Disneyland Paris. So that completed their tour of all 12 Disney parks around the world. So
very neat.
We keep reminding them that they're very lucky kids. Most people don't get to do that.
I'll say. I mean,
they enjoy it.
I've only made it to North American parks and Paris. I have not been able to make it the other way. This year, my goal was to go the other direction. And well, I have the fresh passport. I have the fresh TSA pre-check and the global entry, but we're a little bit grounded these days. But I did search
soon.
when you talked about Disney MGM Studios, the original name of the studios park. I was actually hunting for a different collectible from a different part of my life the other day, and instead I came up with this hat. You remember this?
Oh, yes.
I believe this was my mother's from 1989. We were at Hollywood Studios New Year's weekend at the end of 89-90 when Star Tours had soft opened. So we have the classic painter's cap of Star Tours with the Disney MGM logo on it.
That's
and it's
awesome,
got,
with the great early 90s colors.
Oh yeah, and it's got copyright Disney and Lucasfilm Limited right on the inside.
Nice.
Anyway, you said you were willing to play our game, and so I think there's no time like the present but to bring on the rest of the Mouse Planet game, and we'll chat with you some more, because the way we're doing the game is we're breaking things up a little to give our audience an opportunity to play along. So let me get folks here on the screen. I'm going to see if I can do this in some order where I get our two competitors near each other. Let's bring on Adrian first. Welcome back, Adrian.
Hey.
All right, let's see, we're going to get to number 4 here. So let's bring on Todd Pickering, who is giving us his best Charles Nelson Riley, reading Lisa's book because Lisa couldn't join us.
It's a good read. You should check it out. You can.
Let me bring on. Say again, Todd.
California Dreamin', you can get it. Look at Shawn. You can get it on Amazon. So give it a look.
Say, wait a minute. What was Shawn reading? Oh, there's Todd showing off Lisa's book. But Shawn, what were you reading?
This is my Traveler's Guide to Batu.
Very nice.
Nice.
Very nice. All right, let me bring on last week's champion, who's also got a book at hand, I see. Shelley from On the Go and MCO. Shelley, what you reading tonight? You're reading the recipe book. Wow.
I had it out. We're looking at making the lava buns.
Which one?
So we would be really adventurous.
Cool. Well, we had our Todd King making Ronto wraps a few weeks ago, and he can chat about it when we bring him on. But let me bring on your challenger this week, who I've already mentioned, Jeremiah Good. Jeremiah, welcome. And what is Jeremiah reading?
I'm
Jeremiah,
looking at my
you're silent for
collector's
some
cards.
reason. Anybody hearing Jeremiah?
Yeah.
Everybody's hearing Jeremiah but me? Hang on one second. Let's see what happens.
Can you all hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
I left and came back.
I'm looking at my collector's cards from the 40th anniversary of Disneyland. Ooh. Adrian, I'm sure, has these too.
I don't actually.
All right,
Believe
so maybe
not,
Jeremiah, you know the answer. Maybe because you had it on the screen for one moment there. Maybe you know the answer that I don't know. The question I asked in last week's edition of the game referenced Harold as the Yeti on Matterhorn. Why is he called Harold? That I don't know.
Cast members came up, just named him. Shawn may know the answer better than I do, but as far as I know, it's just a cast member name.
No, but Yeah, I don't, but that sounds plausible.
All right, well, let me bring on Todd King. He is our local Star Wars reporter from Kentucky. There is Todd.
Oh, hello.
What are you reading, Todd? Todd's looking at maps.
The maps of the Disney parks.
And Todd's also the only one that could read the cover of Shawn's book without a decoder guide.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm sure he could translate it. Maybe he can translate the coaster for me. I don't know. I've got it handy.
Oh, it says
Oga's
drink well
Cantina.
and a lot.
I believe at the top it actually says Oga's under my finger, and it says Cantina
Yeah.
at the bottom.
Arabesh isn't that hard to read.
I know.
Strangely like English.
I'm going to bring on Greg Jacobs because for some reason Chris Berry's camera's facing his ceiling at the moment. There's Greg Jacobs. Welcome, Greg.
Hello. I feel like I needed something to read.
And let's see if Chris is with me. Hopefully this will pop Shelley into the top row. Let's see. Shelley's in the top row.
I have book. I have no book handy.
No book.
Sorry.
You and me, Chris.
Yeah.
So
I have them. They're back there.
These are all of our players this week. I'm going to play the game intro, then I'll explain the rules, and we'll get going here with the first two questions in this week's game. That wasn't long enough for me to do what I was trying to do in the background.
Oh wow!
Who made it?
I was hoping to have enough time, but I didn't. There we go. So there's our game engine. It's Jibe Time. For folks who haven't joined us for Jibe Time before, Jibe, of course, means come into agreement or match. But we're not playing the match game. We're playing MousePlanet's very own Jibe Time game with questions that I have written. In the Jibe Time game, our two competitors, which are, and I'm always doing this, I'm clicking in the wrong spot. Our two competitors, who are Jeremiah and Shelley, will each get to pick a question from those that we have not previously used. But the sample question that we used a couple episodes ago worked like this. Did you hear, after all of these years at Disneyland, Disney's lawyers finally got to Mr. Toad's Wild Ride? When the park finally reopens, the new safer version will be Mr. Toad's blank ride. And we had answers like socially distanced and mild and all the things you'd expect. So each of our players, which, like I said, are Jeremiah and Shelley, will get to choose a question. Let me go to this view and see how that works. That's kind of awkward. Now Jeremiah's looking at my chin. Anyway, each person will get to answer one question of their own, but everybody writes on every question. That all makes sense? And then I'm going to be the judge of answers. We'll see if they jibe, and the winner with the most points, like Shelley last week, will get the major prize that we have available with all the funding that Adrian has provided to me. It's our Mike Wazowski moment. With a logo that I've made myself.
You never asked me for funding for prizes.
I was going to say this week, no comment. This week, we could also add Roz into the picture, or we can add. She's got her own Roz to go with Roz. We also have Smitty available, and convenient. We have Needleman. Needleman, yes, there we go. Although you got to watch out for Needleman, I guess he's going to appear in some awkward spot there. At any rate, let's go to the game engine here. And Shelley, you are the champion, and I'm going to actually go to Jeremiah and have Jeremiah pick first from the questions that are left here. You can see on the list as I bring them up on the screen, which is not that button, but this button. The questions that are left are the ones in green. You can have your choice of numbers 2 through 24, except for the red ones with an X. Jeremiah?
Let me take question number 18.
Number 18. All right. Here is question number 18. So everybody will write. Audience, please put 18 with your answer as you give us comments. Here is question number 18. And I just need to click in the right spot again. There we go. Question 18. Here we go. Did you hear Sunny Eclipse at Cosmic Rays Starlight Cafe in Tomorrowland recorded a new tune to remind diners to remain physically distanced? It's called 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot blank. Day or night, when we not stay home. Everybody got that? And let's play some Jibe Time.
7 foot, 8 foot.
Everybody right. Everybody right? Folks at home right? Please. What are we going to fill in that blank?
I have no idea. 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot.
Oop. I don't know why the music keeps cutting out like that. All right. So there we go. That's our first question. Todd Pickering is going to be our scorekeeper again. You will help remind me that Jeremiah picked question number 18. And I will go back to the game engine. And Shelley, you can have your pick if I can scroll down to that part of the screen and bring the questions back on the screen like this. There we go. Shelley, how about another question?
I will take lucky number 7.
Number 7. Question number 7 is, songwriter Richard Sherman says that he and brother Robert conceived of the song "It's a Small World After All" as a prayer for peace. While beloved by some and considered a Disney classic, more than 5 decades since its debut when sailing the happiest cruise that ever sailed, blank is what some guests pray. So what are folks praying on "It's a Small World"? Ready? And let's everybody write, and let's get an answer to the number 7 in your answers for the folks who are writing at home. Ready? Let's get that music playing. Come on, play with me here. There we go. Everybody writing.
I like the song.
You like what?
I like that song.
Me too, especially having heard it played as a ballad the way it was written.
Yeah, well, I've heard Richard Sherman play it that way. It's beautiful.
It's a lovely song.
All right, so we've asked our 2 questions. Let's bring Shawn back, and we'll chat some more about Shawn and your Disney fandom. Let me get Shawn's button here.
Hi.
Wow.
Howdy, Shawn. Welcome back to the big screen.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
So the reason we take a little break is we learned in week 1 that there's sometimes a major lag in some of our services between when we're asking a question and when our audience actually gets to see it. So I figured we'd chat with you for a few more moments. And you know, from the 12 parks, you know, I'm going to tell you to rank your best and worst. No, I don't think that would be fair, right? But in terms of favorite memories from one of the overseas parks, for an American tourist going to an overseas park, what did you find as a special moment that had some relation to your love of the Disney parks that was somewhat unexpected when you visited overseas?
Gosh, you know, I mean, really, some of my greatest experiences from the international parks have been in Tokyo. The experiences with the cast there are just unbelievable. To a person, they are going above and beyond all the time. And, you know, we've just had the greatest time. When we had our first visit, we were kind of intimidated. You know, we had never been to Asia. Going to Europe felt a little more comfortable at first because, you know, languages have Latin roots just like English, and we weren't sure about Asia. But, you know, we got there and discovered that practically every single cast member we interacted with spoke at least some English and were happy to go out of their way to interact with us and help us have a great experience. So that was pretty cool.
And did you also stay at one of Disney's resorts at Tokyo, or did you stay elsewhere?
We did. On our first visit, when it was just me and Laurel, we stayed at Hotel Miracosta, which is at the entrance of Tokyo Disney Sea. And then when we went 4 years ago with our boys, we stayed at the Tokyo Disneyland Hotel.
And did you find the same sort of, and I mentioned this to folks who don't know, Tokyo is the one outside the U.S. resort that Disney doesn't have ownership control of. Did you find that same above and beyond care from cast members in the resorts themselves?
Absolutely.
Very neat. All right.
Yeah, it was really great.
All right. So we've had an opportunity to let people answer questions, and Jeremiah had asked number 18. So I'll bring number 18 back on the screen, and we'll get his response, and then we'll see what our audience has commented on number 18. 18 was, did you hear Sunny Eclipse at Cosmic Ray Starlight Cafe in Tomorrowland recorded a new tune to remind diners to remain physically distanced. It's called 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot blank. And Jeremiah, what did you write?
6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot mask.
All right.
That fits good.
That's a pretty good answer for this day and age. Let's see what we've got here. Nan Kent, by the way, likes Todd Pickering's haircut.
Thank you, Nan.
She has offered up as her answer. We've got lunch, since that's what you're doing when you're at Sunny Eclipses.
And it rhymes.
We've got burger from Dave Kent, but we're going to give a point to Jeremiah because Liz Kelly Neisman from my old high school days, she says masks.
Wow.
Those are the answers we have on number 18. So far, Jeremiah has scored a point. Let's go to your opponent and see what Shelley has done for you. Has Shelley given you a point? Shelley?
6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot
apart. Oh, that's good.
That's
Pretty, I could hear Sunny Eclipse singing that, no question.
I like the arrows.
Shawn Slater, what do you got?
Well, Jeremiah, I appreciate your commitment to the meter of the song. I wish I had thought of that. Unfortunately, I didn't. So I said light year.
and
I get it.
Laurel just chimed in a little delayed, and this is where we could just be out of sync. She said space.
Space.
That's good too.
All right. Todd King, what do you have?
I couldn't resist the original rhyming scheme.
Oh, nice. That's a good one.
That is a good one. Let's see. Chris Berry, what do you have?
Well, I just said, 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot run.
And Adrian, what do you have? I'm not hearing Adrian. Is anybody else here?
Adrian, your microphone's on.
I'm here.
Oh, there you go.
So Patch is helping me today, and it's 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot pole.
Pole. All right. Adrian's all in on the International Dog Day thing.
My dog's asleep. So.
All right. Did I get everybody? Todd Pickering. I did not.
Yeah,
get
mine's
Todd
terrible.
Pickering.
Everybody's was great. Loved them. I just went with 16 foot. A visual, really far away. Just doubled 8. Sorry.
Greg Jacobs.
Yes.
All right.
Greg.
Well, I also went with the straightforward mask.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a point.
Way to go, Jeremiah.
That's a great one.
All right. I'm trying to see what happened
Points
here.
scored.
All right. So total points on that, I'd say 2.
2.
All right. Very good. 2 points for Jeremiah. So Shelley had us ask her question number 7. I'll get question 7 back on my screen here. Question 7 was, songwriter Richard Sherman says that he and brother Robert conceived of the song "It's a Small World After All" as a prayer for peace. While beloved by some and considered a Disney classic, more than 5 decades since its debut, when sailing the happiest cruise that ever sailed, blank is what some guests pray. And Shelley, your answer?
To sink.
Sink. Oh. I think that one.
Oh God, you kind of got dark there.
All right. So Shelley gave us the answer sink. I'm going to take a quick look here in the comments and see what we have. On number 7, we have "Don't Break Down." That's a good one. "Peace and Quiet." We got "Nap Time." And we've got "Quiet."
Yep.
So no matches from the audience for Shelley. Let's go first to Shawn on this one, since I've got his button next to my finger here. Shawn, what do you got for this one?
Well, so I thought instead of a prayer for peace, maybe it's a prayer for it to cease. Which it would do if it
well written.
Is it a match? I don't know.
I was going to say that's why you're in the communications department.
Well written rhyme.
Adrian, what do you got? Adrian, you're muted again. Silence. Well, that's appropriate.
That's why.
All right.
Why she did it.
That's the way to commit to it.
Jeremiah, what do you got?
Silence.
I love the sync. I was thinking that, but it's still too soon with Jungle Cruise. So I said escape.
Escape!
Todd King, what do you
That's
have?
spelled just like escape.
Well, in Florida, and California, but mostly in Florida, you're thankful for AC after all.
Oh.
Yes, absolutely.
And Chris Berry, what do you have?
Listen, I'm a fan of the song, but I still put earmuffs.
Earmuffs.
Yes, a slot. Sorry.
All right. Hey, Adrian, you wanted to talk about the dogs. You want to do that here?
Well, it turns out that I am not the dog owner of our group. We actually have a couple of other puppies that might be joining us. But yeah, it is National Dog Day. I miss my puppies. I wish I still could have puppies. But Disney actually did some fun stuff under the Disney Magic Moments. And they did a whole lot of Dog Day content, which was kind of fun. I loved the costumes that they were showing this year. And, dog costumes are one of those things that's like, okay, do we really need to dress our dogs up? But I have seen so many animals at Disneyland, service animals, that their handlers do put them in some kind of a costume. And it's really adorable. And I'm going to offend everybody by saying this. I'm one of those that's really...
Do I need to get by the mute button?
Probably. I'm one of those that's kind of a stickler about, the difference between a service dog and a pet. And that's probably because I raised puppies as a kid, guide dogs, and I have friends who are very actively involved in that. But even when you have a service dog, a working dog that is coming with you into the parks, there's no reason that you can't have some fun with them. And there are some really adorable, you just had that screen up. There are some really adorable costume components that are out there right now. I really love the...
Can you scroll through it? I don't have access to your screen.
I am scrolling through that right now. I mean, I love these little headbands and such.
Hang on. Anybody seeing it scroll? I am not.
Nope.
It is not.
Really?
It is still.
Oh, wait, hang on. Let me try this.
Now you're zoomed in.
Zoom.
There you go.
Hey.
There we go. Yay. Sorry, technical
There's
foul.
a good dog.
All right. I mean, I think some of these are absolutely adorable. But even if you're not going to go out, I mean, first of all, I have cats now. I can't even imagine trying to put them in these costumes. I would be shredded. But right?
Yeah.
Like, I kind of want to go get a dog just to put him in.
I would put my dog in the R2D2 outfit. I would.
But I don't see any reason why that can't be a cat bowl. This one right here, that would be a cat bowl. These leads are adorable. I did have a cat that actually walked on a lead, so I would totally be okay with that. So I don't know. They've just had some fun stuff. But they also put out recipes for dog safe treats today, which I thought was really kind of fun. I have a friend that makes all of her own dog food, and so I'm going to send those over to her and say, hey, here's some stuff to try for your pup this year.
All right, cool. I'm going to bring Shelley. Bring Shelley back up, and Shelley, you're trailing, so I'm going to let you have the next pick of the. I've got to take the Adrian shared screen out and add the game engine shared screen back in. There we go. Shelley, what question would you like? We got all the green ones.
With 14.
Number 14. And again, please provide your answer number in your answers. Those of you who are playing at home, number 14 is... Aha. If the walkway is moving at the same speed as your ride vehicle and the train leaves Main Street Station at 2 p.m., blank is when you'll see the 3 o'clock parade.
Oh, my God.
Nobody knew there'd be a math story problem, right? If the walkway is moving at the same speed as your ride vehicle and the train leaves Main Street Station at 2 p.m., blank is when you'll see the 3 o'clock parade. Ready, and let's write.
Ugh.
All right. Hopefully, folks at home will see that soon because I'm not seeing any answers in the feed. All right. Jeremiah, you get your choice of questions. Jeremiah, pick a green number, please.
I pick Shelley.
Oh. There's no numbers.
Oh,
Alan.
that would help, you know?
Yeah.
I didn't understand his reference. I can see the numbers. I'm sorry, you know?
Extraordinaire.
Let's go with number 6.
Number 6. All right, here's number 6. When Walt Disney Animation finally created a movie based on the Grimm brothers' fairy tale Rapunzel, they named it Tangled for its heroine's long hair and the twisted adventures of Flynn Rider. They are now considering a prequel named blank. Another prequel for Tangled. Ready? Right.
My goodness gracious.
I missed Shelley grooving to it.
I got nothing.
All right. Well, I don't know if our players at home.
Hard.
That's a hard one.
Could be. Yes, sir.
Alan, I'm not sure everybody got their answers for Shelley, but I have no points for
That
Shelley.
is right.
Is that correct?
That is correct.
I think you missed a few. You missed me.
She's
but
a
I
good
didn't.
sport, at least.
So as long as everybody's the same.
And Todd, I might as well, because I want to spend a little bit of time here as we wait for the stream to catch up, because I'm starting to see some numbers pop up. What's going on in the world of our California star, who all the new stuff that I haven't actually used here comes from.
I'm called Todd Pickering. Yes, that is my name. I'm here every Wednesday. I walk of fame.
Ah, he's a poet.
Ah, yes, the Walk of Fame. Yeah, I still am doing the Walk of Fame. I think I published today, but I was so busy getting ready for Mouse Planet. I'm doing it every other week. But I do a star on the Walk of Fame, and 2 articles ago, I did give a link to all of my Disney Walk of Fames. So I guess I'll definitely finish Winnie the Pooh, because he's the only animated star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame that I haven't done yet. They've got Tinkerbell, Snow White, Mickey, Minnie, and Donald Duck. I think I got them all. Yeah, that's all of them. So
when you do your Walk of Fame, for people who aren't familiar with them, I mean, I've loved pulling little clips like, you know.
If you like this segment, tune in the week next. Give me a thumbs up, a tweet, or a text.
It's like
A little fan in the background.
It's like the Cat in the Hat, isn't he?
Well,
exactly.
and that was the Dr. Seuss piece that he did. Where can people find your little vids?
It's on YouTube. It's called Walk of Fame Wednesdays with Todd Pickering. But if you start typing in Walk of Fame, but I've done over 100 definitely of the stars. So, and most of the fun facts of the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And Disneyland itself has a star, one of the unusual, not at the top 5, not the 5 categories that are on the Walk of Fame.
And Disneyland's, if I recall, is in front of the El Capitan, sort of like in that indentation there, or you know, it has its own star altogether, right, on the wall.
It has its own star. It's in the. It's hard to get a picture because it's the entryway of Ghirardelli. So if you want to get a picture with it, it's nicer if you go in the morning, which is nicer anyway because there's less of a crowd, or late at night once they've closed it. But most of the Disney stars are in front of El Capitan Theater, which was not originally owned by Disney. So you have to, Walt is on, I've got it memorized now. Walt's on the north side and Mickey's in front of Grauman's Chinese Theater. Walt has 2 stars. One is very, very east on the corner, and the other one
TV and film.
TV and film. Well done. Well done.
All right. I got some of my trivia down. All right. Let me get the game question back.
All right.
For Shelley, what number did you pick?
14.
Remind me. Number 14.
It's a happy player. Awesome.
So number 14, I have my math story problem.
Oh my God.
If the walkway is moving at the same speed as your ride vehicle and the train leaves Main Street Station at 2 p.m., blank is when you'll see the 3 o'clock parade. Shelley?
Soon.
That's a good answer. I like that. I like that.
I have an English degree and a theater degree. Math is not my thing.
Me too.
And I got from Laurel says that one's getting no answers because it's hard.
That one was a hard one.
Oh, we did get some answers, and the numbers weren't popping up here. We got the parade will be after your nap. Nan Kent has actually done the math homework for you. She's saying 340 if you're standing in Frontierland. And those are the only ones I see here for 14. So let's go to Shawn Slater, see what he came up with math-wise for the 3 o'clock parade time.
Well, I think you'll be able to see it sometime in the future. Fingers
And that
crossed.
was pretty much the answer I was thinking when I wrote that one. Right. Todd King, you're the next button here. Todd, what's your response?
Well, I couldn't come up with anything else, but when you stand clear of the doors, o'clock.
Nice. Good. Jeremiah, what do you have?
Well, I was going to say Comedy Warehouse because I know that's what you were thinking when you wrote that, but instead I went above the castle, much like you see the fireworks.
Right. Let's see. We got Adrian. What do you have?
Well, you didn't specify if this was Disneyland or Disney World, and you didn't specify if the parade was starting at Small World or on Main Street. So
You're correct. You are correct on all those counts, by the way.
So I just went with tomorrow.
Tomorrow. All right. Chris
Because
Berry?
you will have forgotten where you were, and by the time you get to the parade route, you will already have missed it.
All right. Chris Berry, what do you got?
I mean, I didn't know what to think. I went with the ultimate science fiction geek answer and said 42. So
They answered everything.
that's the answer to everything, right?
Always. You get points for that.
All right.
Todd Pickering, what do you got?
Well, I was thinking movies. So Yuma, 3:15 to Yuma.
Oh.
I fuck. Now I'll try.
And it goes in the slot.
Greg Jacobs.
All right. I also went with the opposite of soon because the train is slow and said 3 o'clock the next day.
Yeah. Perfect.
So
All right. So no points for Shelley.
Not happening.
Our defender.
I don't know. Jeremiah's gonna walk away with this, I think. Jeremiah, let's see. You had us ask question number
6,
which is there. All right. So the name of the prequel for Tangled. What do you got?
It would have been set in the 80s, so it'd be Crimped.
Crimped. All right.
Nice.
And let's see. We've got some answers to that in the comments I saw. We've got Mullet, which is also valid for the 80s.
Right.
We've got Braided. We've got Naughty. And we've got Tousled.
Tousled.
That's great.
That's a good word.
Good answer. All right. And let's see. Let's go with Adrian first here. Adrian, what do you got? Adrian is muted again.
Okay.
Silence.
I'll do it in sign language. Well, I was thinking if it was a prequel, I mean, we already know Rapunzel's story basically from birth. So we know that. I was thinking it was going to be Flynn Rider's story in the prequel, and therefore it would be called Smolder.
Smolder.
All right. Chris Berry, what do you have?
Oh, I don't know. I just put comb over the prequel. So in the slot.
Todd King, what do you have?
I got nothing.
Well, her hair was always long and it was always spilling out of the window, so it dangled.
Oh, nice.
That's a good one. Shawn, what do you have?
Well, I went before she got tangled. It was brushed,
Right.
and brushed and brushed.
That makes sense.
Love it.
That's why
And
he's
you worked
the writer.
hard. You worked hard at that with the 2 cards too.
Yeah,
I'm impressed.
yeah. Well done.
All about the showmanship.
And Shelley, what do you have?
I have
Pre-tangled.
Pre-tangled.
All right.
some prequel.
Yeah.
That is a literal prequel. And I'm going to skip Todd Pickering for a moment. I'm going to go to Greg Jacobs.
I thought I was the only one who was going to come up with this answer, and I also said pre-tangled.
Pre-tangled. Wow. You got a match for Pre-tangled. Too bad that wasn't
We
Shelley's
would've matched.
question.
I know. Yes. We would have
And I got a preface before I push the Todd Pickering button with this little clip.
That's a little creepy, don't you think?
Oh,
And
my
there's
God.
why.
And there,
Nice.
Triangle. See, my
Groovy.
hair grew. This is actually from my Walk of Fame. It was all up high. This was when I did Motley Crue. So
Nice. And your
So, yeah,
response to the question was?
Jeremiah, you did the 80s. I was just a decade too soon. I did permed.
Permed.
Oh yeah.
Yep. In the
That's
slot.
nothing for
All
Jeremiah.
right. So Todd, why don't you give us a score recap, and I think we'll ask one more question before we call it a night. One more
Terrifying.
pair of
Let's do
questions.
that because Shelley's at nothing. Sorry, Shelley.
Oh,
And Jeremiah's got a solid 2.
And-
Solid 2.
Solid.
And last week, Shelley, how many points did you have? You had an enormous number of points
Oh,
last
I
week.
think I had 11. I got really lucky with my questions this
Yeah.
week. Not so much.
These
All
are
right,
hard.
so
Yeah.
I can't tell which one's an easy one. There are some easy ones in there.
Yes.
I will this time press the right button and say, pick a question, Shelley, to try to make your comeback here. It's certainly possible. We have enough live players and enough people in the audience. Pick a
I
number,
will go
please.
with 24.
Number 24.
All right, here we go.
Here we go.
Oh,
When Disco Yeti pays a visit to DJ Rex inside Oga's Cantina in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, he asks Rex to play blank for him again and again.
when Disco Yeti.
Disco Yeti pays a visit to DJ Rex. What does he ask to be played again and again? Ready?
Oh, yeah, okay.
Let's write. All right. And again, audience, please give me a question number with your answer. And let's see. I'm going to.
What
go back
question
to,
number was that?
That's a good question.
24.
That's what I'm
Number
trying to get on.
24.
And it was number
That's a good
24.
question.
Question number 24. Jeremiah, your chance to pick a question. If I put it on the screen so you can not pick Shelley this time. There we go.
Let me have question number 5.
Question number 5.
All right.
Oh, and I got my pun question. Folks who visited Disney's California Adventure in its early years remember a park so filled with Disney puns and odd turns of phrase that induced groans. Fortunately, the Imagineers named the marquee attraction Soarin' Over California rather than California Blank.
Oh.
California Blank. We're looking for a pun of some sort. Here you go, guys. Go be creative.
Hmm.
All righty. So while we wait for the audience to catch up, and I've seen a whole bunch of comments come in this time, so maybe they're closer than I thought. Who else has anything news-wise to share that I haven't? I haven't actually talked to Jeremiah on the show in a while, so I'm going to solo him up. Thanks for the photos you shared. What do you have new to share?
Nothing like being put on the spot.
Of course, you know that. You know, I've seen you talk in lesser circumstances.
I've visited all the Disney parks in the past week. As Shawn said, the entertainment is so much fun. I wish I could have shared more of the pictures. Magic Kingdom has cavalcades, has the trolley, has the characters on the train station. They also have them on the porch of Crystal Palace, which is really cute. Disney's Animal Kingdom actually has probably my favorite. It has them floating around on the boats, and you'll see Mickey and Minnie and Chip and Dale in their dinosaur costumes. And then, of course, Donald and Daisy and Launchpad are out there. And I know that you've not headed to the park, Alan. I know Shelley has been there. I'm sure Shawn has been there quite a few times. Right now is the best time in the world to go to the parks.
Those are adorable.
Those are perfect.
The parks aren't that busy right now because of, all the social distancing, the limited capacity. I haven't felt safer in the parks in a long time with all the safety measures, with the space, with the social distancing and the mask wearing and the sanitizers. But it's an amazing time. Like I really hope that Disneyland, when they open, is sometime when I can make it out there, because I miss Disneyland in the 90s when it used to be a Sunday when you could walk in the park and not see anybody, because that's what Disneyland's going to end up being when it does reopen. Because I was in Magic Kingdom today and walked Tom Sawyer Island and maybe saw 5 other people the entire island. It was just so much fun.
Wonderful.
Interesting stuff. Yeah, I won't be having caught something just being out once. I'm a little reticent to going out, and the humidity's been too much for me. What's that?
Let me just interrupt real quick. Part of the game. People would like question 5 repeated. Our viewers at home, so they can put an answer down.
Question 5. All
Why don't
right.
you pop it up on the
one.
It's funny.
All right. So question 5, I will put back on the screen, and I will read it one more time. And that means we'll start with the other question just to let them catch up. But number 5 is folks who visited Disney's California Adventure. And I've got the apostrophe S because it was Disney's California Adventure in those days.
Well done.
In the early years, remember a park so filled with Disney puns and odd turns of phrase, it induced groans. Fortunately, the Imagineers named the marquee attraction Soarin' Over California rather than California blank. All right. So that gives our audience a chance to write more on that one. What was the other number selected?
24.
24.
Number 24. Oh, yes, Disco Yeti. When Disco Yeti pays a visit to DJ Rex inside Oga's Cantina in Star Wars Galaxy Edge, he asks Rex to play blank for him over and over again. Shelley.
Let it go.
Let it go. There we go. Probably
Force.
the definitive answer. Probably the definitive answer. We may see Shelley score some points here. Let's see what the audience said on number 24, if I've got any of those here.
Yep.
I see Let It Go from Nan Kent. There's a point for Shelley.
Yay!
I see Fix You by Coldplay.
Cute.
That's awesome, Alex.
Shake It Off. Freeze Frame.
Right?
And It's a Small World.
That's funny.
And Alex got Fix You Again. He doesn't get an extra one for that. And I see those are all the 24s.
No,
Wait,
there's the
I got
YETI.
I was gonna say Dave Kent's Yeti to the tune of YMCA,
Cute.
which actually would be very fitting of Oga's.
That would be fun.
All right, so that's all the 24s. Shelley's got a point. Can she tie it up? Shawn Slater, see if you can help her out. What is your answer?
Well, I was also thinking along the lines of Snow and Ice, but instead of Let It Go, I thought, it would be a little bit more of, stop, collaborate.
Nice.
Maybe very close.
Ice,
very,
ice,
very
nice.
close.
Nice.
Todd King, what do you got?
I went with the disco theme and said, since it might be an animatronic, that they're playing alive.
Woohoo! I get it.
Todd Pickering, what do you got?
I have a question since I'm very West Coast. Are you talking about the Yeti from Animal Kingdom, or is there really a Disco Yeti? I hope that exists.
All right, well, Disco Yeti is. Last week we talked about Harold the Yeti on Matterhorn. Disco Yeti is the somewhat derisive nickname that's been given to the Yeti on Expedition Everest because he broke many years ago, and they have a strobe light on him, so people call him Disco Yeti.
They do
And
call him that.
I knew
Even
that.
as
And
I've seen it. He's got an Instagram account and a Facebook account, and he's all over. He's all over social media.
Well, whether it's Disney, whether it's Animal Kingdom or Disneyland, they're both on a mountain. So I went with, ain't no mountain high enough.
Very good.
All right.
Very nice.
Fantastic.
In the
Greg
slot.
Jacobs, what do you have?
Okay, I did match you with Pretangled when it didn't matter, but anyway, I went total disco and for some reason picked Boogie Wonderland.
Whoa.
The ultimate disco song.
That's a telling answer, I think.
Adrian, what do you got?
I went very, very, very literal with this. I figured he would ask for Star Wars and
Oh
other
my
galactic
God.
films by Mecco.
You are a Star Wars fan.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's crazy.
Disco
I
ball.
went with
What do you have?
I went disco too, and I went with I Will Survive. So
I Will Survive.
yeah.
Oh, I like that one.
Oh,
Yep.
Shawn Slater's got a toy. That's very cool.
Oh,
heck.
look at that.
DJ Rex himself makes an appearance.
Sean's like us. He's got stuff.
What could possibly go wrong? Jeremiah, what do you have?
Let it go.
Oh,
Let it go.
Oh, tied it up.
Dying.
Jeremiah ties it up for Shelley.
There
Oh
we
my
go.
goodness. We have a tie match. All right. So that means Jeremiah might take the lead since he's got a question that's out there, which was
Very
number
exciting.
6?
Number
Was the
5.
Number 5.
Number 5.
Number 5.
Dramatic reveal there, Jeremy.
Yeah, right.
And
You
we're
know.
looking for our California puns for Soren and Jeremiah. It would have been called California blank.
So I'm going to give a total match game, but we're not match game. We don't want copyrights anything. You know how you tell stories.
Jibe Time.
Jibe Time. So when Disney's
hand jibe.
California Adventure opened, much like Adrian, I'm sure, we visited the park many times prior to opening through cast member previews and annual pass previews. So when the opening day came and I waited 3 hours for merchandise and then waited 10 minutes to ride Soarin' over California, the ride actually broke down while I was sitting on it, and I ended up taking a nap. So it's California snoring. Good job, pal.
California snoring. California snoozing.
All right.
Great
Well,
answer.
let's see some of the answers we got from the audience. We have, and you know, I'm going to give you a half a point for Emily's answer. She gave you "Dreamin'."
California
I think that gets.
That's
I
the
think
song.
that gets a half a point. That might make the difference, right? Because Shelley, you can't make it up to half a point now. I got. Please repeat number 5. We already took care of that, right? And missed the question. Number 5 is what Shelley said. Oh, wait, there's another half a point because I got "Dreamin'" twice. I got "Dreamin'" 3 times. I got "Screamin'."
California screaming.
That was the name of the roller
I was going to say, and I've got "Flying." Oh, and one more.
California
I have
Under.
"California Under," which I'm not sure I get the reference.
Yeah, me neither.
Dan under.
All right. So let's go to our players. Shelley, what did you put? Let's start with you.
I've got
Dreamin'. Another half a point for Jeremiah.
So shouldn't
You guys help each
Shelley
other.
match with the other ones?
What's that?
Shouldn't Shelley now
Shelley
match
should-
with the other ones?
She should match with the dreaming ones.
Well, I was going to say I gave a half a point for Dreamin'.
I know, but she should get points since she actually matched.
Oh,
with
because she also matched. Yeah, but
not
you
my
helped her out with
question.
Frozen. No, it's
not-
right. It's your
Oh,
question.
all right.
That's not my
Shawn Slater,
question.
what do you got?
Well, I went a totally different direction.
Yeah.
Glidden State.
Biden State.
Oh,
Now that's
nice.
very punny. Very, very punny.
That's cute.
I don't
All right, Todd King, what do you got?
Well, I agreed with our audience member and said California Screamin'.
Todd Pickering?
I got a California Borin instead of Soren.
That I would actually say matches
That-
with me more.
I like that. I like
I
that.
went with
Rick Jacobs?
California Cyan.
Oh, because that's what you would do when you.
Chris Berry, what do you have?
I thought I just get annoyed with too many puns, and I wrote California puking.
Puking. Adrian?
There's that.
Muted.
California silence.
California Screaming?
California
Screening.
singing.
Seen it.
What is it? What does it say?
California
Singing.
singing.
It's a pun.
It's a
Hey.
pun.
Huh.
Ah, that's a little creepy, don't you think? Oof.
Oof.
And she's muted again. All right. So with the half points awarded, Todd, have you been keeping score?
Yes. Well, with the half
I was going to
points.
say, stop playing with the book and give us the score.
Well, and lots of puns. Well, if you give half points on that, that would be 4 for Jeremiah and 2 for Shelley.
Wah,
So
So it
even with
looks
that
like
one
it
half
looks like
point.
Jeremiah is our winner, so he gets the grand prize of
There it
his
is.
very, very own When I find the correct button.
Jump to the left. Jump to the left.
Where the heck is
right,
the button?
right.
There's the button.
Jump to the left.
There's the button. It's very
Right.
unlike
Patient.
the key moment.
This isn't the time warp. He doesn't need to jump to the left.
I was going to say, or we can give Jeremiah the alternate version of the Mike Wazowski moment, because I don't have the Laughing Place logo loaded up. So congratulations, Jeremiah. How does it feel to be the winner of our fun little game that we like to call? Gosh, I really have to get quicker on these buttons. That we like to call.
Ding.
Because I beat my good friend Shelley, it makes me feel better.
A true winner.
And Shelley, how does it feel to be beaten by a good friend? Or if you'd like to say what's going on your website this week, now's the time. On the go at MCO.
I am very excited for Jeremiah to come back next week and defend the crown. And at On the Go and MCO, it's just lots of stuff going on in and around Orlando. You can hear me on K92 tomorrow, and on Friday I'll be on WDBO.
All right. Shawn Slater, any parting words to share?
Mm-hmm.
Thanks so much for joining us. He's got
Bye.
Oh, that's an
interesting Mickey. Mickey's mouth is missing.
Well, this Mickey was actually a Father's Day gift, handmade by my son Evan.
Oh.
So probably my favorite item in the entire study here.
Aww.
Yep. I love
Oh,
it.
Shawn, your son's name's Evan. What's your other son's name?
Riley.
Wow, those are interesting names. Is there a backstory behind those names?
Oh, Jeremiah has some insider scoop here. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, my wife and I are both huge Disney fans. So when, we were having children, we figured out we were having twins. People just assumed we would give them Disney names. But we couldn't see saddling our kids with Mickey and Donald or Walt and Roy or anything like that. So we looked for something a little more obscure, a little more clever. So we went with Evan and Riley. Oh, wait, here comes Laurel. You have a picture
Laurel.
of them?
Hi, Laurel.
And
She can't hear us.
That's true.
That's true. He's got his headphones on. That's right.
And
So
if
we
she's
named them
watching
Evan
on the
and
stream, she's a
Riley.
few moments behind.
Here they are a few years ago. Yep.
Uh,
So Evan comes from Spin Evans on the Adventures of Spin and Marty on Mickey
my
Mouse Club.
Lord.
And
Wow.
Riley comes from Dexter Riley on the computer who wear tennis shoes.
Wow.
Jeez.
So both young men that are good role models that they can look up to.
You are a fan.
So it's a good thing Disney didn't
Deep cut.
own. I was going to say it's a
Deep
good
cut.
thing Disney didn't own The Simpsons yet, right? Or you'd end up with a Marge and a Bart, or a Bart and a Homer.
Right.
Or a
All right.
Millhouse.
Well, thanks so much for joining, Shawn. We appreciate it.
Yes.
My pleasure. Lots of
Thank
fun.
you, Shawn. It was great.
Let's see, Chris Berry, you got anything else to share?
Yeah. Hey, Shawn, thanks for being here. I just sent 2 twin boys to college Sunday, so good luck with that whole twin thing.
Wow. Yeah, we still have 4 years to go for that.
Yeah, it's nothing but fun. And then here is National Dog Day because he's asleep. So there's Bailey. There he is.
Oh,
Very
he's
nice.
adorable.
Yep, he is adorable. Thanks everyone. Thanks for tuning
All right,
in.
thanks.
A lot of fun. I don't have an article this week or anything, so
Todd King, anything to share?
I wish there was more Star Wars news happening, but mostly it's just anticipation for what's to come, like Mandalorian season 2 later this fall, and the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. But I think we need a correspondent for Tron, because there's a Tron ride coming, and there's some Tron stuff coming to Disney Plus, rumored, even starring Jared Leto. So I think that's the stuff I'm looking forward to. It's way off in the future, but thanks for having me again.
cool.
Thanks, Todd. Greg Jacobs?
Okay, I'll do the National Dog Day thing too. They're my 2, if I can figure which direction they're going. That's Digby and Zoe, boy and a girl. And just article on Friday on Mickey Mouse figurines. So next collectible article. More stuff to buy.
More stuff.
All right. Todd Pickering, anything to share?
No, just thanks to our guests, Shawn, Jeremiah, and Shelley. Thanks for being on and playing. And the one thing I was going to say, there is for people that enjoy merchandise, there is some merchandise on the Jungle Cruise going on right now, and there's even a water bottle that's the backside of water. So
it's a water bottle that's the backside of water.
Perfect.
How does
so Jungle Skipper,
is the water on the outside of the bottle?
I sent some pictures, but I'll post them on our Instagram. There you go. Plug Mouse Planet Instagram. I'll post them right now. I forgot to do that, and I take tons of merchandise pictures. But yeah.
Adrian, anything else to share?
Not a ton. There's a new pop-up shop going on in downtown Disney. Disney is actually doing reservations for it. It's I think they're doing a test bed to see how they can do new product releases with social distancing and without creating crowds. So you actually have to go online and get a reservation for when you can go shop. It's at the ESPN Zone, the former ESPN Zone building. So I was hoping we could talk about it tonight. I'm trying to get somebody from Disney to be able to talk with us about it next week, so we can give you more of an idea of what's going on there. The original launch of merchandise appeared to be all 65th anniversary stuff, so we'll see what they do with that in the future.
So Roz doesn't count as an official guest, huh?
I'm sorry.
All right, Jeremiah, you're welcome to come back next week and defend. Are you available? Are you interested? All right, I got a thumbs up. We'll see what the week brings.
Yes, I do want to jump on Todd King. Not jump on him, but jump off his Star Wars. If you head over to the Star Wars Celebration page, since that's kind of Disney-ish, they did just put up merchandise that becomes available, I believe, on Monday to the public, and Friday if you had tickets to Star Wars Celebration. That should have been going on right now.
Yeah, that was supposed to go on right now. Yeah, September 1st, I was eyeing some Lego sets. So merch is coming out too.
Some pop figures too. Some strange looking pop figures.
And I would like to say apologize.
Ooh. What?
That's awesome.
Vi. Is that a custom?
No,
that was Vi, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's with the
Vi Maradi
ITS.
The Millennium Falcon. The transport.
That is nice.
Oh, you got it early.
Yep, just came today. My son was putting it together.
Jeremiah, did you have something else?
I would love to apologize to Shawn and Laurel, because I'm pretty sure I've had them tell the story of the boys' names to complete strangers throughout the day when we've been together. But this was one of those times where I had to showcase it.
And as I shared with Jeremiah and Shelley before the show, thanks to Jeremiah for this photo op, because he was the one who invited me when we had the tickets to go see the last ride of Great Movie Ride. That's what that originally was. Photoshop is a wonderful thing. They're now holding their logos. And they're more than scheduled to appear. They've actually appeared, yes. No, I was going to say I can freeze frame that and use it next time, right? Anyway, anybody else have anything? Have I not gotten around to everybody? Nope. Todd Pickering, wake up, please.
I'm posting on Instagram.
All right.
Posting the pictures.
Posting it on Instagram. All right. So from Florida, Alan DeLica, thanking everybody for joining us. We will see you guys all real soon. And I am going to keep filibustering until I find the button that I use to end the show with, because tonight, I don't know, this cold is still getting to me. Everyone, be well, be safe, have a good one, and
bye
see you
from
real soon.
California.
Bye from New York.
TFN.
You guys.